Hello friends, welcome to Coding Hostel YouTube channel. In this video, I will show you a program print array using recursion. So we have a array in which we have 5 elements and we have to print this array using recursion. So first I will make a method here, public static. So we only have to print the array elements and we do not have to calculate anything. So that's why I will use here void return type, because we do not have to return anything to the main method. We only have to just print the elements of the array, and the method name will be print array. I will make the body of this method later. First I will call this method here, print array, in which we are passing this array, and we also have to pass the array index, from which index we have to start printing the elements from this array. So I will pass here 0. So we are passing two arguments in this method. So I will make here our parameters int array a and int index. So first we have to print the array element. So I will write here system.out.println, in which we are printing the array element which is at current index, and after that we will call this method again, print array, in which we are passing a, and we will increment the index, so index plus 1. So you can see in the starting we are passing here 0. So it will print the element at index 0, then it will call this method again and it will increment the index. So next time it will print element at index 1, and so on. But we also have to write a base case here, because every time this array index is incrementing and at some index, this index value will become equal to the array length. So that time we cannot print any element from this array. So that is our base case in this method. I will write here if index equal to a dot length. So that time we will return, and this method will stop when this base case will execute. So now let's run this program. So you can see here in the output we are getting our array elements printed. So let's see how this program is working. So you can see here we have an array in which we have 5 elements, and then we are calling our method in which we are passing this array and index 0. So when we are calling this method, so that time in the stack memory we will have this array and we will have the index variable. So this is our index variable, and right now its value is 0. So you can see when index is 0, what will happen in this method. So first I will write here some line numbers. This is line number 1 and this is line number 2, and for the base case we do not have to write any line numbers because they will execute in the last. So when index is 0, this first line will execute. So because of that it will print element at index 0. So at index 0 we have element 10. So in the output we will get element 10, and after that when this second line will execute, and it will call this method again and it will increment the index also. So after that in the stack this method will again get the memory, and here we are passing this array, and this time index value is 1. So when index is 1, this if statement is not going to execute because index is 1 and it is not equal to array dot length. So then this line number 1 will execute. So because of that it will print array element which is at index 1. So at index 1 we have element 20. So in the output we will get element 20. After that this second line will execute. This method will call itself, and in the stack this method will get memory again, and here we are passing array and the index will become 2. So when index is 2, this if statement is not going to execute, this line number 1 will execute. So then it will print element at index 2. So at index 2 we have 30. So in the output we will get 30. After that the second line will execute. So then this method will call itself for next index which is 3. So then this method will get memory in the stack, and this time we will have index 3. So when index is 3, this if statement is not going to execute, this line number 1 will execute. So it will print the element which is at index 3, which is 40. So in the output we will get 40. After that when the second line will execute, this method will call itself. This method will get memory in the stack, and this time we will have array and the index is 4. So when index value is 4, this if statement is not going to execute, this line number 1 will execute. So in the output it will print the element which is at index 4, and at index 4 we have 50. So in the output now we have 50. After that line number 2 will execute, and this method will call itself for next index. So next index is 5. Again this method will get memory in the stack. So now you can see when index is 5, this if statement will execute. So then what will happen, we will return from here. So when we will return from here, so the memory for this method where index is 5, it will get removed from the stack. Then we will reach in the method where index value was 4. So you can see that when index value was 4, we have executed all the lines in this method. So there is no more lines left to be executed. So line number 1 and 2 has been executed. So we will also return from this method, and this method will also removed from the stack. Then we will reach in the method where index is 3. So same will happen for this method also. We do not have any more lines to execute, so this method will get removed from the stack. And same will happen for the rest of all these methods, because we already have executed all the lines for all these methods in the stack. And in the last, we will return back in our main method, and here you can see that there is also no more lines to execute. Then this program will stop here. So this is how we can print a array using recursion. And you can see that we are printing this array from the starting, like from starting index to last index. And suppose if we want to print the array in the reverse order, then what we have to do? So there is two methods to print array in the reverse. First we can pass here last index of the array. So here we will pass array dot length -1, and you can see that in this line we are incrementing the indexes, but this time we will decrement the indexes because we have to go back to index 0. And here we also have to change this if statement. So we have to write here if index is less than 0, because up to index 0 we can print array elements. So when index will reach in negative values, so that time we have to return. So now if we run this program, now you can see that we are getting the array elements in the reverse order. I have shown you the method 1 to print the array in the reverse order. So now I will show you the next method. So you can see that this is our program to print array from the starting index. So what I will do is I will remove this line from here, and I will paste this line here after we are calling this method. So now if I run this program, what will happen? So here also we are getting the elements in the reverse order. So this is all for this video. Thanks for watching.